Okay, so first impressions on the 2021 Ford Bronco. Let's get right to that in a moment. First, let's just, touch real quickly on those deadly sins. If anyone is out there thinking of changing their order, I can tell you, I've seen orders get picked up, even one that was from, it was about the 15th of March. It got picked up and it had Lux package. There has Lux package. It's going to exist. It's been given a serial number. It has Lux package. It has a hitch. I'm really thinking the issue is pretty much only the soft tops. Soft tops. Of course, when you put out a list there, a lot more people are going to say, you know what, I don't want to switch. I want to hold on. But the hard tops are guaranteed an issue. Webasto is, whether they make 40 a day or 100 a day, they need to be making more. Instead of 3,000 per month, they need to get the number more around 8 or 9,000 per month. So they're off. Can you live with a soft top? I think you can. I'm going to talk about what points might make it that you won't want to live with a soft top, but let's just say that it's not all that bad. And something to keep in mind beyond the whole deadly sins and whether you're going to switch up this vehicle. People are going to cancel their orders, and if those dealers keep those orders in, that means there'll be available very few but available Broncos. Now, that this does not justify that we'd all continue hyping up the 2021 model, and actually what I'm seeing isn't all that bad. Bronco Nation is now hyping up the 2022 models, like the new colors, the new special items for it, and I think that's actually good, because that's going to get some people who are going to get, or who are going to wait for a 2021, they're going to choose to have a 2022, because let's say they want that dark green, or they want a special model. So I think that's great. I think that's going to actually be helping us all out, because it's going to free up some build space for this year. I want to get mine as soon as possible, so I can be going into fields, catching a little bit of air with this and filming that for you all, taking it into the woods. And I've thrown on the soft top. Do I think it's a little less great than the hard top? Well, I think in the summer I'm going to love that soft top. This came by my local dealership. It only came by for about an hour. It wasn't a public event, because Ford, I think, realizes their goal isn't to have everyone swarm in and say, hey, I want a 2021. Can you get it to me in 2 to 3 months? They wanted to let the staff there really get their hands on it and sort of learn about it, see it beforehand. Now, of course, I couldn't drive this model because these touring Broncos that some people are getting upset about, saying like, hey, I've seen some touring Broncos with touring around, deliver those to people. These aren't prototypes, but they're not full proper production models. These have been built while suppliers and Ford themselves are testing everything out at the factory and getting things right, fine-tuning. So they're fine-tuning those machines. So they're not necessarily perfect, and it's part of the reason why we can't drive them. Now, I did sit in one. I sat in this one. This is the exact color I'm getting. I'm getting a Velocity Blue Badlands, and it is pretty awesome. This thing is massive. So my first impression, soon as I saw it, from 75 feet away, it is big. And when you sit in it, it's awesome. Because when you're sitting in a Bronco, the hood is, it feels like the hood is long and really wide. You almost feel like you're sitting in, a Hummer, an Army vehicle. It's not, and of course it's not that massive, but it does feel large and in charge. You feel like you're sitting up high. The seating is extremely comfortable. I could definitely head and do a 4, 5, 8-hour road trip. I could be sitting in this all day long and would be very happy. Now, you see here the soft top. Heck, that must have taken about between a minute and 2 minutes it only takes seconds to pull it back, and then all the occupants have that open air experience. Now, of course, to put it all the way back, right against the tailgate. You need to remove the side windows and the back window. And that takes, if you're one person, it's going to take a couple minutes. If you're two people, you're going to get through that real quick. So that was really well designed. I actually love it. It's going to feel a lot like my Mustang. And of course, the Mustang, you just turn a switch. Here you turn two switches, but in the Mustang you turn a switch and it's all power. But the fact that you operate this by hand, it's light and it's easy. And there's a reason that it's light. It's actually thinner and less well insulated than the soft top on the Mustang. So in a moment, more towards the end of the video, I'm going to compare the two because I think there's definitely a big difference going on here. I don't think people are going to be all that disappointed if they're used to off-road vehicles. I've seen Jeep videos, barely any difference in decibels between a hard top and a soft top. I'm thinking this under extreme cold, of course, the heat is going to go through the roof a little bit more because it's one material thick. It's one layer. There's no multi-layer like you'll see on the Mustang GT that I've got, but it is awesome. This could have one major flaw and I'd still be very excited about getting it. And I didn't find one major flaw. I'll have to see for a test drive, but I don't expect that either because I've driven 2.3 liters very often and 2.7 liters as well. So there you saw, the hardtop is thin. If you press down on it, it ripples through the whole top. And that's not going to be an issue until you go over 70 miles per hour, just like a Jeep. If you go out there and you watch Jeep videos on YouTube, you're going to see that people say, and people who've tested it, next to no or no decibel difference when you're running around 65, 70 miles per hour. But when you start to get over 70 miles per hour, wind turbulence is going to shake that roof, and you're going to hear that inside the vehicle. And I can confirm that it's going to be the same for the Bronco here. Is that a major flaw? No, that's just how these off-roading vehicles are. It also helps make the roof a lot lighter. If this was built like a Mustang roof, you couldn't do it manually. You need an electric pump, a power system to pull it back because, well, a Mustang's soft top actually has thick, somewhat heavy, hard plastic paneling, really. It's got thick, heavy paneling in it. So it just wouldn't work. But, all the staff members and, they're people that work at Ford dealerships, they don't all, there's some mechanics driving old Toyota off-road machines that they've jacked up with big tires. But, just all positive reviews in regards to the looks. Everyone who sat in it, it's not just me, Bronco boy here. It's not just me that really enjoyed the feel of the seat. It's built really comfortably and it's built smart. Inside, all the buttons, steering wheel buttons. Normally you look at steering wheel buttons like on my Mustang, and if rain were to hit the steering wheel, well, it's going to go into the mechanisms. Here, what's really cool is it's all built so that, if it gets splashed on, the water isn't just going to go right in. So all the buttons remind me more of the boat I had. It's all covered. It's pretty much all sealed up. So that's really cool. That's going to be great for off-roading. And, I can't wait to test drive it. Is the test drive going to be good? Yeah, I expect it to be good. Heck, let's compare it to the Ranger. Ranger 2.3 liter inline 4-cylinder with the turbo. It's got pep. It drives great, and it drives, gonna say this, I just sold my Mercury Marauder. That's a 4,200 pound machine with a V8, a good old V8, and actually it's the V8 from the Cobra Mustangs, and had, originally had 305 horsepower. Mine was tuned a little, so I had maybe around 330 horsepower in 4,200 pounds, and it was not fast, but not slow. It was adequate. And you know what? We're getting 300 horsepower out of the 2.3 liter 4-cylinder. So with a much faster transmission, a much smarter transmission, and a smoother transmission than my Marauder had. So I think anyone who is planning on getting a 2.3 liter, you're not going to be disappointed. So now let's go out and check the Mustang roof so we can really compare the differences between the two roofs. So right off, you can see it really quickly. The Mustang top is a lot thicker. It's at least 2 layers thick, and you can see the top layer here. It's a really thick, solid layer. It has insulation on it, and then you have this extra interior layer here. So, you know, your first layer is very thick. It's really solid, and you know, it seems like it's a better top than what's on the Bronco. Now, I don't think that means that a lot of people are going to be disappointed, because I think people who already have off-road machines are used to a top that's very similar to what's going to be on the Bronco. Here's the other thing. If you're waiting on your Bronco, you're probably best to compare that to a road test of a soft top Jeep, because a soft top Mustang, a convertible Mustang, I think doesn't have a whole lot to do with the Bronco top. It's not at all the same type of construction. First of all, the whole front panel here, the first section, about 24 inches, possibly a little bit more. It's a little more than 2 feet. That's all a hard piece of plastic going through the entire top. Secondly, throughout the top, you've got beams to hold the top really tight down. So, you know, we'll compare with the other Bronco top where I'm, you know, banging on the top. But you can see right here, I bang on the top and it's really only moving the material in between the beams. The whole front section is a hard plate. So the result is, if you're going 80 or even 90 miles per hour, wind turbulence isn't gonna make all sorts of noise on your roof. And actually, in a Mustang convertible, it's not gonna make any noise. So whether you're driving in, you know, a hard rain or you're just driving really quickly, this is dead silent. Now, that's not gonna be the case with the Bronco, and I don't think that means that everyone's gonna be horribly disappointed. You know, if you've been in an off-road machine before, you know, if you've been in a Jeep, the soft top makes some noise. You know, I've been watching people with meters measuring it, and actually in the Jeep soft top versus the hard top, it's the same decibels. There's not more than 2 decibels of difference between a hard top and a soft top, as long as you're under 70 miles per hour. Where the big difference kicks in is when you go faster than 70 miles per hour. So that's something to keep in mind. You know, is this information going to be enough to convince you to switch your hard top to a soft top if you haven't received a VIN number yet, a serial number? Maybe, maybe not. You can let me know in the comments. The quality of this vehicle is fantastic. The fit and finish, you know, there's no weird gaps. Everything is, you know, balanced. It looks really sharp up close. Because of course, a vehicle at distance with a photo on the internet, even if it's not assembled very well, it can still look great if the styling is great. But I can promise you, and I can guarantee you, that the fit and finish of the Bronco is absolutely fantastic. The interior as well, you know, previously, you know, you look at Ford maybe 15 years ago, you look at GM 15 years ago, the interiors were getting criticized by a lot of journalists, and I can understand and I can relate to that. I've had some older Fords and, you know, hard plastics galore. This does not feel cheap inside, and actually I'd say it feels luxurious. It feels high quality. So overall, the fit and finish of the vehicle is fantastic. You know, you look at the light housings, you look at the grille, the hood, the fenders, everything fits perfectly together. The gapping is excellent. So 10 out of 10 on fit and finish. I have no complaints whatsoever. Now the top. I'm surprised the top is only 1 layer thick. So it's like a piece of material. It's a good piece of material. It's quality. It's not vinyl like they're throwing on the tops of Mustangs in the 90s. And back then people smoked, and you didn't want to leave your cigarette on that. It would kind of melt like plastic. The top on this is a really nice material. It's got a nice look to it. It's got a nice finish to it. And I was worried the top was going to look kind of cheap, and it doesn't. It doesn't look cheap. It doesn't feel cheap. It's quality, and it's a reason that I think you'll be happy if you do switch to a soft top if you're in a real hurry to get your Bronco. Now, if you're not in a real hurry to get your Bronco, or if you're a real early reservation holder, keep the hard top. And here's why. It's going to cost you a lot more to get a hard top later on, an aftermarket or from Ford hard top. It's going to cost a lot more. First of all, if we look over at Jeep, Jeep soft tops sell for about, give or take, around $1,500. Jeep hard tops, when they're quality, are more around $3,000. They're double the price. And with the Bronco, so far, unless Ford changes it, you don't have the plumbing and the electrical or the wiper when you get the soft top. And you also don't have a heated rear window. Now, long term, also, those windows are made of plastic. Will they yellow? Well, that's just what plastic does. I don't know if anyone's figured out over a 10-year period how to not have plastics turn yellow. Will you be able to buy spare windows and sides and back? I'm sure you'll be able to do that. But if you can wait, stick with your hard top. It's got an amazing look. But, I'm talking about soft tops a lot because it is an option to help you get your Bronco sooner. And I think a lot of people are thinking that, the soft tops aren't going to be good. Well, I can say that they're somewhere between very good and great. It is a great looking soft top. The material and quality of the soft top is great. But with it being only one layer thick and not having, a multi-layer with some insulation in between, that it's fair that it doesn't have that stuff because it would make it a lot heavier and harder to handle, to pull back. And the whole goal of this is a fun and sun vehicle when you get it in the soft top. But, it might be a little harder in the winter. I'm thinking that's an easy solution to resolve though. It's one layer thick. So yeah, the heat is going to escape through it a little more easily. But you just keep your fan going, you keep the heating going, and you'll be just fine. So if anyone's thinking that they can't have a soft top because it's not going to be livable at all in the winter, I don't think that's the case. I think it's going to be a little difficult, of course, if there's an ice storm, because how do you clean off those plastic side and back windows? But with in life, there's always sacrifice. When to all rewards, there comes sacrifice. So I'll let you make that decision on your own. You can put in the comments whether you're going to be switching to a soft top or what you really think of the soft top. So just a heads up, you can still, in some very rare dealerships, get a 2021 Bronco because they still have allotments. But make sure you get the soft top. That's my piece of advice. And this isn't meant to be a hype video. Even though most trucks in the market, for example, certain Dodge Rams take almost a year to come in now. It's the environment we live in. It's because of these darn microchips. It's not just the automobile industry, but even the gaming industry. But let me get you up to speed with everything that's going on with my channel. I've sold the Marauder. I've sold the F-150 because I thought, heck, the plug-in escape for the wife would be coming in. But, I got this Mustang to play around with in the meantime. And, my 18 GT is still around, but it's causing me some problems. While I always wish you guys all more cars and more power, you can see I need to log out and get to more pools and more gardens.